Hi, Mr. Romo. Thank you for meeting with me today.
You're welcome.
So we're going to go over your son's literacy. We're going to start with a reading interview that was given to him at the beginning of the term, basically asking about his reading habits and what he likes and does when he reads. He says he likes to take turns reading with mom at home and every day, and that's very good. You want to make sure that you keep that up. Encourage him to read a little bit every single day. He believes that practice is what helps people become good readers, and that's excellent. Studies have definitely backed up that the more you read, the better you become at it. He likes humorous books and true stories. True stories, that's excellent. Most kids his age aren't really into that sort of thing, but he really seemed to enjoy it, so that's very good. Big words give him the most problems when he reads, so he's acknowledging that that's a good thing because now he can work on it. And he believes that reading is important because it helps with his grades. That's awesome. That's shown. Reading has been shown to help improve your grades throughout the curriculum. So we're going to start with phonological or phonemic awareness. So phonemes are the basic sounds in a word. So if you have the word bat and you sound it out at, those sounds are the phonemes of the word. So we gave him the phonological phonemic awareness assessment on February 12th. He did excellent. The only mistake that he made was here on the phoneme segmentation. He was supposed to break up the word into the different phonemes. So for pig, he said p-ig instead of p-ig. And I think that might have just been that he was unsure of what he was supposed to be doing. It was the very first one, and he got all the rest of them correct. So I'm not worried about that at all. And you can see he did everything else just right. So phonemes are definitely one of his strengths. He doesn't seem to have any problems with that. Now we're going to move on to the phonics. So there's a couple assessments we do for phonics. The first one is a names test. And phonics is kind of putting the phonemes together to create words. So you have the word bat, b-at. You sound it out and it'll start to sound b-at and then bat. So eventually you have the full word. So one of the assessments that we gave him was the names test, and it's just this list of 25 random names, and we asked them to pronounce it. And as you can see, he did really well. Now, in the beginning, it was mentioned that his culture is very important to him, so his accent, his mother doesn't want him to lose his accent. So that's good for me to know because most of the mistakes that he made had to do with his accent. So as you can see, he mispronounced Quincy. Instead of the soft C, he put a hard C in there, and he did that with the only mistakes that he made were things like that. So definitely not too much to worry about there. The next assessment we did was the nonsense word test, and as you can see, it's just a bunch of random words. They don't make any sense, just basic sounds. He did excellent. His only areas where he needs improvement are digraphs and blends. So for smend, he got that one right, but fuzz, instead of the TH, he made an F sound. I think that again is more of a cultural, his accent is having him pronounce it that way. And then long vowels. So instead of sny, he said snee. Just little things like that. So those are the only areas that I think we need to work with when it comes to phonics. And one of the things that we do in class are word sorts. So we'll have a couple of different categories, and they sort random words into the categories to kind of help them learn about the phonemes and the phonics. Another assessment that we gave him was the spelling inventory test. And this is just like a spelling test. We give them a list of 25 words. Normally children stop when they start to get really frustrated. They don't want to continue, but he did them all, and you can see he did pretty well. He's right about at grade level. You can see here I've put him at the within word pattern late. So that's excellent. That's right where he needs to be. That's where the rest of the class is, so it'll help him when it comes to instruction in the classroom. He doesn't need anything extra there. The next assessments that we do have to do with vocabulary. Now, vocabulary is the meaning of the word. This is one of his weaker areas. He struggles with remembering what the words mean and how to say what they mean. So he understood what the word was. He just didn't quite know how to put it into a definition. Now, there were a few instances where he gave me Spanish words to compare it with, and that's great. That shows that he understands what that word is, and if he comes across it, he can recognize it and know what it means. But you know, we really kind of want to work with this. And one of the things that we can do are having like a daily word. So give him a word in the morning with the definition, and have him use it throughout the day in his everyday conversations so that he kind of remembers. And working a lot with vocabulary at home is really important. If he comes across a word that he doesn't understand when he's reading, have him tell you so that you can look it up together at that time so he doesn't forget it later on. So again, we have him at level 2, so about 2nd grade when it comes to vocabulary. Alright, so the next area that we assess is fluency, and fluency is just being able to read words effortlessly. You don't have to sound them out, you don't have to think about each individual sound. So we gave him the San Diego Quick Assessment, and as you can see, he did pretty well. Most of the mistakes that he made, again, had to do with his accent. Just the way he pronounces certain words, it comes across a little bit differently. So we have his independent level at grade 4, which is excellent since he's only in 3rd grade. So he's here on grade 4 for independent, and then his instructional level is going to be at grade 5. So that's where we kind of want to give him instruction to help him continue to move on. And then grade 7 is his frustration level. It took him much longer to sound out these words, to be able to say them, and he made a few more mistakes. There were a couple that he just didn't even try. So we stopped there. That would be his frustration level. So that's one of the assessments we do for fluency. The other one is going to be the running record. So basically I have him read this running record to me, and I check off the words that he gets correct and make notes where he makes mistakes. So you can see he did really, really well on this, and this is a 3rd grade level running record, so he only made 5 mistakes total, and most of them were going to be substitutions. So you can see here, instead of saying green, he said pink. Instead of saying room, he said bed. So the only time that he had a real problem was the word unique, which is kind of a hard word for students to pronounce. That's the only one that I had to kind of correct him on. But all the rest of them he self-corrected, or he already knew. And he did this in about a minute and a half, which is pretty quick. So then we assess comprehension. And comprehension is being able to take everything and understand what you're reading. And it's kind of the big picture. You know, you teach students how to read, and then they have to read a little bit more fluently, and then they have to understand everything that they're reading. So not just individual words, but what does that sentence, what does that story mean? When talking about the pet rock, we asked him to do a story map for the comprehension, basically just asking him after he'd read it what he thought about the story, the different areas. So he knew the title, he didn't know the author, which is fine because no author was actually given on the story. He knew the main character. He kind of guessed at the setting. It was never actually said in the story. It was more of an informational thing, so he didn't need to come up with that. The problem, he kind of made one up, and this is kind of where it gets tricky, because he kind of took different elements of the story and created his own problem and solution. Now the solution, it made sense in the story, and there are things that happened in the story, but it wasn't the actual problem and solution. But I have asked him questions about other things that he's read, and he's done really well. He seems to really understand most of what he's reading, and that's excellent. That's very important for a student to be able to comprehend what he's reading. So, like I said, you know, his 2 areas of weakness are really the vocabulary and the fluency. The vocabulary is just a matter of teaching him what words mean. And being bilingual, sometimes those students tend to be behind because they're learning it in 2 separate languages. So his fluency, again, you know, he seems to be doing okay with that. I think that really we're going to just concentrate on giving him word sorts and reading. Reading is the best possible thing that he can do at this point to help improve his overall literacy level. So, do you have any questions for me?
No, I will definitely start working with him on vocabulary outside of school.
Very good.
Yeah. Other than that, do you have anything you would suggest?
Some of the things that we do at school are using word sorts. I kind of mentioned that in the beginning. So I can send some of those home with you, and basically you can make it like a matching game. Another thing you can do is we use whisper phones that are basically PVC pipe that they hold up and they whisper into it like they're talking into a phone. And it helps them be able to hear what they're reading. So that helps with the fluency and the pronunciation of certain words.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Thank
All
you
right.
very much for meeting with me.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you.